This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Homeless encampments continue to raise concerns in the city for those who call them home and those who live nearby. The city is mulling tighter rules, banning encampments from certain areas. But instead of designating where they can't be, one outreach group says having a dedicated spot they can be might be the solution. CBC's Gavin Axelrod has more.
These tents are set up at a park on Lizzie Street where children could be playing. They are people's homes, but might not be allowed here for long. Shane Popeil lives in a makeshift shelter just across the street.
And just try to stay away from people, like that's the whole goal, right? It's a lot of mental health and issues and drugs and sickness. So it's hard to see it and feel it, and it gets to you after a while, breaks you down a bit.
The city's Community Service Committee unanimously approved a motion Monday. It says encampments wouldn't be allowed within 50 meters of schools, playgrounds, or seniors' facilities. They'd also be forbidden where a hazard or obstruction to traffic exists, within a median or traffic island, and within 30 meters of transit shelters, among other things. The motion also says reasonable notice of enforcement will be given, and shelter options will be communicated. Enforcement would happen during the day, but some living in tents wonder how it will all work.
That'd be really tiring. Tearing it down, putting it back up, moving. And then you think it's okay, and then you have to tear it down again. Then you gotta replace your stuff and move.
At St. Boniface Street Links, Marion Willis says the motion is a first step, but it doesn't all sit well with her.
That model is more likely to push people who are struggling with homelessness and addiction into other places where now we've got other challenges.
She's pushing for temporary locations for what she's calling managed encampment to housing sites.
With proper sanitation, with proper garbage removal, with outreach workers on site whose job it is to work with the populations in these sites to link them to income supports and housing.
She says this differs from other Canadian cities with designated encampment spots.
Without much of a plan other than to relocate encampments from places where maybe people would rather they not be.
Meanwhile, Popeil's goal is to one day have a roof over his head. He says many others are also waiting, but can be unsure of where to go. Gavin Axelrod, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A First Nation on the east side of Lake Winnipeg is standing by its plan to turn away licensed moose hunters on its traditional territory. The move has stirred up controversy with groups representing hunters and outfitters calling on the province to step in. And as CBC's Josh Crabb reports, there's uncertainty about what will happen when the moose season opens in just 5 days.
At a ceremony late last month, Bloodvein First Nation unveiled no trespassing signs along the East Side Road near the Bloodvein River. Leaders say it's partly to put a stop to hunting on the nation's traditional territory because they're concerned about the moose population in the area. Surrounded by other First Nations leaders in Winnipeg Wednesday, Chief Lisa Young says Bloodvein will stand by its plan and turn away licensed moose hunters when the season opens September 15th.
And what we've stated is that we don't want them on our river. And because our check stop is in place south of the river, they're not going to gain access. And because our check stop and our First Nation safety officers will be present.
The First Nation set up the check stop in May 2025 to stop the flow of drugs and alcohol into the community. The hunting ban isn't sitting well with the Manitoba Wildlife Federation. Senior policy advisor Chris Heald argues licensed hunters have a legal right to access the area because it's comprised of publicly accessible Crown land.
These hunters have purchased their licenses legally from the province after consultation with all the stakeholders and determined the safe allocation of licenses, and that the hunters should be allowed to go.
Rights-based harvesters don't need a license, but non-Indigenous hunters do. A spokesperson for Manitoba Conservation says 175 moose tags were issued for hunting zones 17, 17A, and 17B near the First Nation. Conservation expects of those tags, 41 moose will be harvested in these three zones. Leaders from Bloodvein say the number of licenses is too high.
That's not sharing. That's exploiting our land and our animals that we need for sustenance.
A 2024 aerial survey in hunting zone 17A identified a population of 462 moose, slightly higher than the last such survey in this area in 2018, which the province says suggests a relatively stable population. Natural Resources Minister Ian Bushy says the Manitoba government has been in contact with Bloodvein and the hunting community. The minister didn't address what, if anything, the province will do on September 15th if licensed hunters are turned away from the land near Bloodvein. Josh Crabb, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Passengers on a flight from South Korea to New York were briefly quarantined after their plane was diverted to Winnipeg today. One passenger was taken to hospital and all others held on board. The Asiana Airlines aircraft was parked on the tarmac for nearly 4 hours before departing. According to the province, it was initially quarantined under precaution of something very contagious. It says one person went to St. Boniface Hospital's containment unit, but has since been moved out of it. The email statement adds all precautions were taken and there was no public health threat. The trial of a Hells Angel member charged with drug trafficking is now underway. It comes after RCMP officers seized more than $70 million worth of illicit drugs in a large-scale police operation back in 2022. A sting that involved an undercover cop and a criminal willing to team up. The CBC's Bryce Hoy has more.
RCMP described Damien Ryan as one of the most prolific crime members in Canada. Now, that was in 2022 when he and nearly 24 others were arrested and charged in connection with an international drug and weapons bust. Now, today, his trial got underway in Winnipeg, and we heard from Crown prosecutors about how a drug dealer turned informant helped RCMP close in on Ryan.
Ryan was arrested in 2022 as part of Project Divergent, a multi-year investigation that spanned several provinces. He was charged with trafficking meth, cocaine, and fentanyl, and conspiring to profit from the proceeds of crime. Ryan has remained in custody outside of Manitoba in another case, but he was in court in Winnipeg today. Federal Crown prosecutors Kate Henley and Jana Hyman laid out how a drug dealer became an asset to RCMP. Court heard the informant connected with an associate of Ryan's in Milner Ridge Jail, and through that man acquired drugs, then more criminal contacts, until finally meeting in person with Ryan in Montreal. Court heard Ryan allegedly sold the man 5 kilos of cocaine shipped via courier to Winnipeg. They also allegedly discussed more drug and weapons deals. RCMP arrested 20 people, including 17 from Manitoba, weeks later in early 2022.
Now, we also heard from 3 Crown witnesses today. Now, they effectively laid out the technical side of how, using wiretaps and intercepted calls from jail, police were able to form the beginning stages of Project Divergent. Now, prosecutors estimate this trial could last about 6 weeks. Bryce Hoy, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Antennas are popping up on rooftops in the city's north end to help bring free internet to the community. Often, low-income neighborhoods can become internet deserts. There are barriers to accessing technology. North End Connect is working with the Manitoba chapter of the Internet Society to make high-speed internet available for free. Executive Director Courtney Comber spoke on CBC Radio this morning.
This neighborhood has kind of been left on the back burner since I was a child, since my mom was a child, and now it's like, 60 years later, and it's still on the back burner. So now that I'm the adult, I'm in the position to do something about it. I'm going to, or try at least. But this kind of gives people the opportunity to connect with family, go to school, find jobs, connect with resources online that they wouldn't otherwise have access to.
Their goal is to give 1,000 homes access to free internet. And weather specialist Riley Daychuk in now. And Riley, yesterday we were talking about it and I made good on it today. I wore shorts because it was a warm one out there today, my goodness.
Yeah, 27 degrees, considering our normal high for this time of the year is just 19. These temperatures pretty nice, also pretty dry as the harvest continues. 28s through Brandon, Dauphin, Swan River this afternoon, 23 in Thompson, and you can sort of see on the shading here where we're seeing some cooler air. That's the beginnings of this next weather maker that's pushing in. A cold front that will push through as we get through into the overnight hours tonight. bringing some showers to parts of northern Manitoba. So mostly sunny skies today. Not a lot to see on satellite radar, but you can really start to see this low pressure system over the territories and how defined it's gotten with this comma shape here with this cold front that drapes south through Saskatchewan. This will impact our weather as we get into the day on Thursday. So looking at mostly clear skies still through the overnight hours tonight, really across most of southern and central Manitoba. Into a mainly sunny sky first thing in the morning, but you'll notice some clouds starting to build in as we get into the afternoon. A few showers popping up as we get into the afternoon hours, maybe a few thunderstorms embedded pretty broadly across southern Manitoba. And the winds, Brittany, you'll really notice that southeast 20 gusting to 40 through the afternoon. I'll break that all down for you when I come back.
All right. Thank you, Riley.
Welcome.
Looking below ground to help power the city's high rises. Why the city is looking for new ways to save. More on that ahead. City planners want to investigate the potential of harnessing energy beneath the ground to power buildings in downtown Winnipeg. They're looking for approval to study whether it would be possible to put in an interconnected thermal energy system on Graham Avenue. As CBC's Josh Crabb reports, the idea is part of a broader strategy to reimagine the street.
A portion of Graham Avenue has been transformed temporarily into a place for people to sit, walk, and bike. That's what's happening on the surface, but Area City Councillor Sherry Rowland says opportunities may exist below it too.
There could be energy sourced, for instance, from the arena that we have, home of the Jets. There can be energy underground that you want to source.
City planners want to know whether a district thermal energy system could work here. It would potentially connect multiple buildings on Graham to the same energy sources for heating and cooling, and could incorporate geothermal energy.
Really what we're looking at, though, is some sort of shared system, with the inputs being excess heating, cooling from existing buildings, or possibly could be geothermal, air source heat pump. We don't really know just yet.
A report recommends the city take 2 grants of up to $200,000 each to study the idea. It identifies several large buildings that could benefit: Manitoba Public Insurance, Hydro Place, True North Square, and Canada Life Centre, as well as the Southern Chiefs Organization's Waiwane project to redevelop the former Bay building. They could see lower energy costs and reduced greenhouse gas emissions. The report points to concerns Manitoba's electricity grid could be strained on cold winter days. It says district thermal energy could help reduce peak demand. There are examples of this elsewhere. Ile-des-Chênes Arena, Community Centre, Fire Hall, and an ambulance station are all hooked up to a single geothermal system. The Seasons of Tuxedo Shopping Centre also has one that serves restaurants, shops, and other businesses. Manitoba Hydro spokesperson Peter Chura says the utility wants to hear more from the city about their plan.
We do have experience with geothermal, of course, not only this building, but about a dozen of our other buildings around the province have geothermal systems. So, yeah, we're supportive of anything that increases energy efficiency and less reliance on the grid.
Planners say putting in district thermal energy could tie in with the possible reconstruction of Graham Avenue. What exactly that looks like is still being determined, but there are no plans to reopen the closed portions to traffic. Josh Crabb, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A new tool could help Winnipeg police track down criminals who use cryptocurrency. The police service says the technology has become standard in other jurisdictions. It's software that can be used to trace transactions used to commit fraud and other offenses. Police Board Chair Marcus Chambers says criminals are getting smarter with new tech.
You know, criminals move large amounts of money around. They want to do it so it's undetected. This is a way, using cryptocurrency is a way of doing it. So police have to have a step up as well to track this activity and make sure that they can be held accountable.
The cryptocurrency tracker was purchased using money from the Criminal Property Forfeiture Fund. Former Winnipeg Mayor Sam Cates and former CAO Phil Schiegel are expected to testify next year at the Winnipeg Police Headquarters inquiry. CBC's Bartley Kivas has the latest development in what's become a nearly 20-year saga.
This police headquarters has already been the subject of 2 external audits, an RCMP investigation, and a pair of civil lawsuits. Now the public inquiry over it is starting to take shape.
Fairness will always dictate.
The first public hearing in the inquiry was held this morning. Commissioner Garth Smorang granted standing to a number of parties that plan to make submissions. They include the City of Winnipeg, the Winnipeg Police Service, and a number of key players in the city's purchase of the former Canada Post complex in downtown Winnipeg and its conversion into a police HQ at a cost of $214 million. Those players include former Mayor Sam Cates and Phil Schiegel, the former Winnipeg Chief Administrative Officer, who accepted a $327,000 bribe from Police HQ contractor Armic Babakanians, according to a pair of civil court decisions. Heather Leonoff, legal counsel for the inquiry, says she expects Cates and Schiegel to be among about 30 witnesses.
They both have counsel here today, and that is a good indication that both of them will be testifying.
There will be several phases to the inquiry. It will look at how the Police HQ project was put together, where the money went. This phase is actually titled The Money Trail. The inquiry will also look at what practices were in place at the city and will make recommendations for change. The inquiry will take place over 44 days next year, starting in February and wrap it up in June. Bartley Kivas, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Newly released data shows many Canadians are continuing to avoid travel to the U.S. According to StatsCan, the number of Canadians returning from visits to the U.S. by land and air plummeted in August, dropping by 25% for air travel and 34% for car travel compared with the same time last year. August marks the 5th consecutive month of declines, which began when Donald Trump took office in January and started a trade war with Canada, often referring to this country as the 51st state. Well, the one thing we have heard from a lot of people is they are enjoying more of Canada and more of Manitoba. And boy, oh boy, not a bad day to get out there and enjoy parts of Manitoba today.
Not at all. It was a gorgeous day today, very summer-like today. In some cases, even 10 degrees above seasonal for this time of the year. It's coming to an end, though. It's coming to an end.
It always has to.
Yeah, it starts with the risk of thunderstorms, Brittany, as we head into the day on Thursday. So pretty broadly across southern Manitoba, even into northwestern Ontario, we do have that risk of thunderstorms in the afternoon. But this area that I have highlighted in yellow here for you, this is where we have the best chance of some of that development as we get through the afternoon hours tomorrow. Brandon, through Verdun, Melita, Boissevain, Killarney, looking at the potential in some of these thunderstorms that develop wind gusts of up to 80 kilometers an hour, hail to the size of ping pongs, and up to 50 millimeters of rain and some heavy downpours at once. It's all the result of a couple of things. First off, we have this area of low pressure over the territories, pretty broad cold front, pretty weak cold front that pushes down through Saskatchewan into parts of Alberta, and a secondary low forming over the northern United States. So as those two systems start to move into the province, this does give us some rain into northern Manitoba through the early part of the day tomorrow through the Hudson Bay coast, places like Gillam, Shamattawa, fairly good chance of showers as we get into the early part of tomorrow. But as we start to see this frontal boundary pushing a little bit further south, this is where we have the chance of seeing some thunderstorms developing through the afternoon. So I've stopped it at 4:30, and you can see futurecast depicting some of that into the Red River Valley into the late afternoon hours tomorrow. But as we advance into the overnight hours into Friday morning, you can see some of that into northwestern Ontario, but another round of it starting to form back into the parkland, even into the northern Interlake. I think into Friday morning has a chance of seeing some thunder showers and some of that into the Red River Valley once again. So pretty unsettled conditions over the next couple of days, really across much of southern and central Manitoba. I've stopped it here early Friday morning again, and you can see some of that development into the northern Interlake. So we are looking at the potential for some thunderstorms really dragging into Friday with a few showers. Then we'll get some clearing and even a little bit of stray cloud cover hanging around into Saturday. So the numbers I'm going to show you here do take into account the potential for some of that thunderstorm development. So don't take these numbers to the bank per se, but it's just giving you an idea of what we could anticipate where we do see some of those heavy downpours as we get through the next couple of days. Other than that, we are looking at conditions pretty scattered in nature rainfall-wise as we get Thursday into Friday. Winds do start windy tomorrow, gusting up to 40 at times. We'll start to see that backing off as we get into the afternoon hours tomorrow. Temperatures a bit cooler as we get into the afternoon, 22 in Brandon, 24 in Winnipeg and Brittany, looking at temperatures staying above seasonal right through the weekend.
Thank you, Riley.
You're welcome.
We need to take another quick break. There's more to come right after this. Stay with us. Charlie Kirk, an American right-wing activist and Donald Trump ally, has been shot and killed, and authorities are still searching for a suspect. Kirk was on the campus of Utah Valley University speaking to a large crowd when a single gunshot rang out. Video shows him getting hit in the neck and falling backwards with blood gushing onto his shirt. The university said the shot came from a building about 180 meters away. Kirk was rushed to hospital but did not survive. He was the co-founder of Turning Point USA, the largest conservative youth organization in the country. Kirk is survived by his wife and 2 young children. The contents of a 50th birthday present to Jeffrey Epstein have been released by a congressional committee, including what was earlier reported to be a letter from Donald Trump. But as Katie Simpson shows, he's again denying he wrote it.
The slow drip of new information about Donald Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein hanging over the White House.
Good afternoon, everybody.
As his team urgently tries to dismiss and discredit anyone questioning the president.
The Democrats view this story as nothing more than an attempt to distract from the accomplishments and the achievements of this administration. And that is what we mean when we call it a hoax.
This is the latest frustration. A newly released copy of a sexually suggestive note Trump allegedly gave Epstein for a 50th birthday book. A woman's naked body outlining what appears to be a mock conversation between friends, ending with "May every day be another wonderful secret," and what appears to be Trump's signature. The book released by lawmakers after obtaining it from the Epstein estate.
It's not my signature, and it's not the way I speak. That's not my language. It's nonsense. And frankly, you're wasting your time.
The Trump administration is also denying his involvement with this page in the birthday book, a photo with an oversized check and a handwritten note appearing to joke about Epstein selling a fully depreciated woman to Donald Trump.
Well, look, we say where there's smoke, there's fire. And when it comes to Trump and Epstein, there's more smoke than at a Texas barbecue.
The book includes other graphic images. This drawing from an unknown author showing Epstein giving young girls balloons in 1983 and then appearing to be getting a massage by young women 20 years later.
Getting the truth to the American people.
Lawmakers are promising to uncover more files any way possible.
We've got a lot more documents we expect to get in. We're going to bring a lot of people in for depositions. So this investigation is moving along very rapidly, and hopefully we'll get some answers and some justice very soon.
Trump was asked whether he would be open to meeting with Epstein victims, to which he told reporters he hadn't thought about it. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Washington.
Prime Minister Mark Carney kicked off the Liberal caucus retreat in Edmonton with a message to Canadians. The road forward won't be easy. Rafi Boudjikanian has more.
There he is. Hey. Addressing his caucus, the Prime Minister made it clear he's aware summer is over and his political honeymoon may be headed the same way if he does not start to get things done.
We have to transform our economy from one that's reliant on a single trading partner, too reliant on that single trading partner, to one that's more resilient, one that's built for Canadian workers and their families on the strong foundation of Canadian industries.
To get there, Carney says he's almost ready to announce the first of the major nation-building projects his government will fund. A list that Radio-Canada has learned, at least for now, will not include oil pipelines. A Liberal source saying that there is no private investor who's willing to build that project. News that's disappointing to the Premier of the province hosting the Liberals this week, but Danielle Smith says she will convince Ottawa to change its mind.
We're in active discussions right now, and I'm very encouraged about where we're heading. But don't think that the list as it appears is the final list. We have been assured that there is pathways to get projects on the list as they become ready to be on the list.
Some Liberal MPs, meanwhile, are saying it's good for the government to take a cautious approach.
We're going to do it the proper way, and we'll see what happens. But right now, and as market analysts have said, there isn't the market case there for a pipeline, but we'll see what happens moving forward.
As I say, we'll see what the fall holds. We have promised to strengthen the industrial carbon price. We've promised to turn Canada into a clean energy superpower. I think we're going to see on the list of national projects a commitment to the transition and a clean transition. We've promised an east-west transmission grid. If we realize all of these and more, then I feel pretty good about about the trajectory of our climate efforts.
All of this weighing on Carney as he prepares for a meeting with Alberta's Premier later this evening and a return to Parliament next week. Rafi Bujikani on CBC News, Edmonton.
A Canadian group that usually remains in the shadows stepped into the open over the long weekend. A self-described men's nationalist organization rallied in an Ontario park. Thomas Dagg now on the new concerns it's raising about extremism and anti-immigrant rhetoric.
The crowd of masked men dressed in black came to be heard, taking over this Niagara Park for a rare public rally.
Canada is being pillaged, raped, and burned!
Calling themselves Second Sons and billing their group as a Canadian men's nationalist club.
What is your fear about where this could lead to?
Well, definitely violence. I think the Second Sons have said that they're not just a social club.
Their leader, Jeremy Mackenzie, seen here doing what appears to be a Nazi salute. He also founded Diagolon, considered by police an extremist militia-like group. Below a monument for Major General Isaac Brock, who died fighting back an invasion of Canada in 1812, Mackenzie questions the modern definition of Canadian.
Now we are told that name belongs to anyone and everyone who comes here.
They push the idea that white individuals are being replaced. So they are somewhat of a militia prepared to fight to save Canada and its heritage.
Second Sons and other self-described active clubs train together in gyms and boxing rings. CBC's Visual Investigations Unit determined this recent session was held at an Ontario Lions Club community centre.
The Lions Club tells CBC News it wouldn't have approved the rental if it knew about the true nature of the group hosting an event here. Second Sons is advertising gatherings across the country.
The group claiming it has members in multiple provinces. Their faces always kept hidden.
These groups are gaining momentum, and this is something worrying.
Police say they were called to this park, but the group left before officers arrived. Pictures shared online show military-like drills, even a casualty evacuation exercise, as if perhaps to say a battle is coming. Thomas Dagg, CBC News, Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario.
Russia's drone incursion into Polish airspace during a massive attack on Ukraine has created a geopolitical shockwave across Europe. Poland is calling it an act of aggression by Russia and has invoked Article 4 of the NATO treaty, triggering immediate discussions with its allies, including Canada.
Allies expressed solidarity with Poland and denounced Russia's reckless behavior. A full assessment of the incident is ongoing. What is clear is that the violation last night is not an isolated incident. Allies are resolved to defend every inch of Allied territory.
Polish and NATO warplanes scrambled into action and shot down some of the 19 objects that entered Poland's airspace. At least one home was damaged. It's the first direct encounter between NATO and Moscow since the start of the war in Ukraine. Moscow says the drones were not targeting Poland and accuses Warsaw of trying to escalate tensions. The leaders of France, Britain, Germany, and Canada have strongly condemned the Russian incursion into NATO territory. Now to a CBC exclusive, a rare look at an important Canadian military exercise underway in the Arctic. The goal is to assert Canadian sovereignty in a region other nations have become increasingly interested in, as climate change opens new sea routes, as well as access to valuable mineral deposits. The CBC's David Common watched it all unfold.
You look and check all the inlets and basically flesh out the small vessels.
On board one of the Canadian Navy's newest vessels, a search has just been launched. The crew, joined by a Coast Guard helicopter, combing these vast Arctic waters for a small vessel that doesn't want to be found.
How do you actually proceed now?
So now that we've been tasked for it, we're going to go and take a look and try and find this person.
This is only a practice scenario, but Commander Scott Kellerman makes sure his crew treats it like it's real.
It could be something that could be very challenging to find.
Then we'll be able to go in with our small boats and the RCMP detachment.
This is not some far-fetched scenario. Just this summer, Canada launched surveillance aircraft to monitor the Zhulong-2, a Chinese vessel purportedly for research, but it's also believed to have military application. An independent researcher also tracked a Canadian Coast Guard vessel mirroring that Chinese icebreaker's transit. While last summer it was Canada's Navy shadowing a Chinese vessel.
These research vessels have a wide range of purposes, some of which may not exactly be in Canadian interests.
For instance, another Chinese ship crossed Canada's Northwest Passage in 2017. It would be capable of mapping the sea floor to create maps for future surreptitious travel by Chinese submarines, as well as to identify vast critical mineral reserves in the Arctic.
We have located the VOI. We will be closing it in the next 90 minutes.
Back on board the ship in Nunavut, the suspect vessel has been located. And the Navy moving to intercept, sending 2 RCMP officers.
Could they be looking at a sensitive military site? Is it just people we don't know? And so that vessel that's going very fast there now has the RCMP on board, and they're going to go to intercept and possibly arrest those on shore.
On arrival, the Mounties approach, meeting a group of Inuit people who are assisting in the simulation. They then proceed to make arrests. In this scenario, the Coast Guard members playing potential spies found with Russian military intelligence ID. David Common, CBC News, Eclipse Sound, Nunavut.
The FIFA World Cup 2026 ticket presale kicks off this week, and it's looking like scoring tickets could be a challenge. More on that straight ahead. Soccer fans now have their first chance to snag tickets for next summer's FIFA World Cup, which Canada is co-hosting. But actually scoring those tickets may prove to be a challenge. CBC's Jamie Strachan explains.
25 plus yards out.
Across the ocean, Canada's men's team is preparing for next summer's World Cup.
Oh, wow! Derek Cornelius! Take a bow, son!
Back in Canada, fans are figuring out how to buy tickets.
I think that this phase is your biggest chance as a fan to get a real face value ticket. This is all that's available at the moment.
Superfan Azaz Sheikh, like all Canadians, will have their first chance to purchase tickets Wednesday. Here's how it works. If you're a Visa card holder, you can enter a draw to buy tickets between September 10th and 19th. About 1 million tickets will be sold as part of this phase, and winners will be notified by September 29th. Then, beginning October 1st, can purchase up to 4 tickets for as many as 10 matches.
We're really lucky because we know Canada will be in certain games, but I think there's 60-something games in that first round. Almost all the rest of them, you don't know who's going to be playing.
Moylan will pick the ball inside.
For other Canadians, 2 additional phases will operate in a similar fashion, one from October to December and another after the final draw is decided. Games will be played in stadiums in Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Only the dates of the host country's games are known.
Everybody's going to want these, including us.
Right here.
The president of the Voyageurs, Canada Soccer's main supporter group, knows it'll be a tough ticket, even for the most ardent fans.
It's kind of a little bit Hunger Games-ish, where it's everybody for themselves and trying to get these tickets to these games, and they're limited.
Canada Soccer also has a small allotment of tickets for games Canada is playing in, available to Canadian fans through a lottery.
There's much more demand than there will be supply. It's going to introduce a scarcity that I think people really haven't experienced before in Canadian soccer.
FIFA said prices will start at $82 for some group stage tickets and climb to $9,200 for the final. Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.
Definitely still soccer season out there today, that's for sure.
Even if we're on the cusp of hockey season, right?
It's that strange time in September, right? Yeah. Where we're still feeling very summery right now.
Where the kids are both in soccer and hockey at the same time in some cases.
So many
right?
sports.
So, great morning tomorrow for a dog walk. Do it in the morning because we are looking at the potential for some thunderstorms. And Brittany's, we're going to switch things up. She's going to do the dog walking forecast.
Riley is indulging me tonight because it is a very special to me birthday tomorrow. My pup turns 17.
What
this is Scamper. She's a little deaf, a little blind, but she still manages to find all the treats.
Oh, happy birthday. Happy birthday. You can send your pics, just like Brittany did, to talkback@cbc.ca. We are looking at, like I said, a sunnier start as we get into the morning hours tomorrow. Then we see that chance of showers, maybe some thunderstorms into the later afternoon. So just keep in mind that you could get into some downpours through the afternoon into the evening. Quite unsettled as we head Thursday into Friday across the province. Okay, thought I'd reset and show you where we are, how we got there for today at least. So our high officially in Winnipeg, 26.9 this afternoon. Normal high for this time of the year at 19 degrees. Not quite a record. That's at 32 degrees from 1998. And our record low, minus 1.1. I don't have any lows like that in the 7-day forecast, at least not yet anyway. That back from 1875 and 1918. The sun setting now at 7:52, still 26 degrees. In Winnipeg at the moment, 28 still in Swan River, looking at temperatures in the low to mid-20s for much of northwestern Ontario as well and into northern Manitoba. Gillam sitting at 20 degrees. So you can still see that we're on sort of the edge of this ridge of high pressure with some cloud cover back to the west, mostly clear skies into Manitoba as we get through the night tonight. Maybe the odd shower on the Manitoba-Saskatchewan border, particularly around Virden. There's been some development in southern Saskatchewan throughout the afternoon hours today. So 14 degrees in Virden, 13 in Brandon, 14 through the Inner Lake, 12 into Pinawa under a clear sky overnight tonight, 13 in Swan River under a partly cloudy sky. And into northern Manitoba, temperatures also above normal for overnight temperatures. Only one single digit on the map, and that's Shamattawa at 7 degrees, Gillam at 11. Looking at mostly clear skies, but we'll see some showers and some cloud cover starting to push in through the overnight hours. And you can sort of see that on Futurecast here as we get into the morning hours tomorrow. So 25 by the afternoon in Thompson, but into the morning hours, looking at some showers into Gillam, 23 by the afternoon as we see some clearing through the afternoon tomorrow through northern Manitoba. 26 into Flin Flon, the Pas OCN, both at 27 degrees, and in the south looking at 24 to 26 degrees across the west, with some of that potential for thunderstorm development out of some of this cloud cover as we get into the afternoon. But you'll really see that picking up on Futurecast here as we get into the afternoon hours. 21 in Portage. Once that cold front pushes through, it really knocks temperatures back. So 24 in Winnipeg by the afternoon, 23 in Pinawa, and Brittany looking at 22s to 24s into northwestern Ontario. Your 7-day forecast is coming up in just a bit.
Thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
An organization that works to protect children is issuing a warning to parents. They say kids are often sharing their locations online through social media, and it's putting them at risk. Some people don't even realize how much is actually being shared and what people can do with that information. Jacques Marcoux is the Director of Research and Analytics of the Canadian Centre for Child Protection and joins me now. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me on the show.
So, Jacques, first off, let's talk a little bit about just how common this is and where you might find that kind of information being shared.
So in terms of how common it is, there's not clear statistics in Canada, but we do know from surveys abroad that it looks like we're closing in on, or well over the majority of teenagers use this. I think over the years it has immersed itself into even family life, where families may use this to just keep tabs on where their children are. But now it's expanded over the past couple of years as we've seen the proliferation of these types of functions within apps, where now kids especially it has become very normal to essentially broadcast your real-time location at all times to an entire network of your friends.
And one thing we should really be clear on is this doesn't just mean where you're clicking that tab and it's location sharing with mom and dad. This can really look like opening a map on Snapchat, Instagram, and it's showing exactly where you are, correct?
That's right. It's real-time location. So just like we may all be familiar with looking at Google Maps, for example. Now imagine looking at the same map and seeing icons that represent your entire friend or family network, and you can see their movements in real time. So if someone is driving their vehicle down Pembina Highway, you would actually see that locator sort of progress down that route. So that's really what we're talking about when we say real-time location sharing.
So let's talk about some of these major risks with sharing your location and having that information live in real time. What are things that we should be most concerned about?
So some of the risks are very tangible. So we operate cybertip.ca, and we do see cases where kids are coming in and telling us they've been sextorted or extorted by someone who tricked them into thinking they were a friend. So they added them, and then that person now had access to their real-time location. And then that information gets used by the offender to really ramp up the threats against a child, because they can now tell them that they know where they are, what school they go to, where they hang out, and that puts a lot of pressure on kids. The less tangible ones are more things surrounding fostering, like the importance of fostering a healthy digital behaviors that we have. If we just reflect back on the early days of Facebook, when I think a lot of today parents used to overshare, and when we reflect about how much information we used to put online, we probably in hindsight and with maturity realized that wasn't maybe the best idea. And I think real-time location sharing is one of those things where it's important to stop and take stock, because there are unintended consequences. And some of those things can include, like, imagine a child looking and seeing all their friends clustered at a park or at a house party and you weren't invited. You can imagine the impact that has as a child who's in grade 8, grade 9, finding themselves within a social circle. So there are a lot of mental health harms potentially with these functions.
And I'm sure if we went through all of our friend lists, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or anything, there's probably a lot of people on there that we may have added years ago that we don't necessarily know all that well now these days. How can parents start that conversation with their kids and begin to have this talk?
Like I said, I think parents know these tools exist, but they may not realize just how much exposure they can amount to, especially for a kid. So having those conversations about just taking stock about who are you actually sharing this with? Is it an ex-boyfriend or an ex-girlfriend that you no longer want to share it with, and maybe you forgot to turn it off? Oftentimes, some of the default settings may be to share it, or you may have had the default setting on to share it broadly, and then you've added a new friend and not realize that now you're sharing it with this new person you've just met, but don't know all that well. So taking stock, doing what I would call an audit of what you're currently enabling or allowing in terms of how broadly you're sharing that and with whom, but also just understanding the trade-offs, right? So to an extent, this is like surveillance. It's self-imposed surveillance to an extent. And is that replacing things like having dialogue or check-ins with your parents, picking up the phone and having a conversation about where you're going? So anytime we adopt new technology, it's really crucial that we consider what are the trade-offs with that technology.
Great. Thank you so much. This is an important conversation to start having with our kids. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Still ahead, roadside waves, the Nova Scotia children who say thank you every day in our daily lift. Stay with us.
All right, looking at a couple of unsettled days across the province into the afternoon hours for the Red River Valley. That's our best chance of seeing some thunderstorms pop up into the afternoon. A few showers into there as well. 24 through the afternoon, looking at a southeast wind, 20 gusting to 40, so a bit on the gusty side as we get through the day tomorrow as well. Into Friday, maybe a few scattered showers. I think we'll get some peaks of sunshine back by the time we get into the later afternoon hours, and then we start to get some clearing as we get into Saturday. So still a few clouds hanging around early in the day, then more of a sunny sky into the afternoon at 26. Next chance for showers comes into Monday at 23, and we've got 24s through Thursday and Friday of next week. Well, like our province, other parts of the country have had a really busy wildfire season. In Nova Scotia, emergency crews have been making a daily trek to the province's Long Lake fire northeast of Halifax.
But on the way, they're met with a trio of children standing on the roadside yelling, "Thank you," as they pass. Their small gesture is our daily lift.
My children have made signs and have been out waving and saying thank you and sending best wishes, and just to make their day, try to make their day a little better as they start to fight fires and save houses, save our houses, our house, as well as their friends' houses, and just want to make sure they know they're appreciated. No, it's all you guys wanted to do something. And us just wanting to do something because we couldn't go out and help. It makes me really happy because it makes me feel that I am helping out. For a very proud mama. That's all, extremely proud. Mama, baby. My heart could burst. It makes me so proud to see them take the pride and the time. And I mean, we're over 20 days into the fire now, and they haven't missed a beat.
They are definitely helping out.
Definitely helping out and very dedicated as
Very
well.
dedicated. You know that they don't miss a day, and those firefighters, I'm sure that puts a smile on their face.
And you know what? They've been at it for so long now that they don't even jump when that air horn goes off. Like
That's
me.
for sure. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Have a good one.
I still jump when those go.
Oh, me too.